So let's begin in child's pose. Knees are about hips distance apart. Hips are heavy down back by your heels and resting your forehead on the ground. Let's take our arms actually back by our sides with your palms facing up. Just relax your shoulders and let them drop towards the ground. Draw a nice deep breath in through the nose, filling up the belly, the ribs, the chest. Exhale through the mouth, just feeling your body relax and settle down towards the ground. On the next breath in, you're going to roll up into a kneeling position, stacking one vertebra at a time until you come all the way up, arms up into the sky, open really wide like a letter Y. And as you exhale, you're going to draw your tail underneath you, pull the belly button back, go back into that tiny little child's pose position. Again, as you inhale, let's roll up again, articulating, stacking one bone at a time. Arms come up, opening the chest as you keep your belly in and your tail drawn underneath you so you stabilize that lower spine. Exhale, pulling the belly button back, curling back in towards yourself. Let's do one more. Inhale, rising all the way up. Open up really big. And exhale, coiling back in, getting really tiny. Do that one more time. As you come up into kneeling, I want you to hold, and as you exhale, pull your arms down, bending your elbows with your palms facing forward, squeezing shoulder blades together. I call this W arms. Inhale, sweep the arms forward, lifting really tall. Exhale, draw the shoulder blades together and pull the arms down like you're pulling a heavy weight from the ceiling. Let's do that one more time. Arms reach forward. Inhale, rising up. Feel like your chest is opening really big. Exhale, pull down. Relax your face, your jaw. Good. Let's do that again. As your arms come up, breathing in. As you exhale, bring your hands back and down through W and then to your hips. Let's take the right foot a big step forward into low lunge. I want you to draw your hands forward like you're picking up a bowl of soup from the ground, lifting it up overhead as you inhale. And as you exhale, once again, W arms. Make sure your knee is over ankle, belly pulls in. Let's do that a couple more times. Go ahead. Grab the soup, lift it up overhead. Exhale, pull down with the chest open, belly strong. One more time, grabbing that soup from the ground, lifting it up overhead. Pull back and down. Hands come to your hips again. Going to go into a side bend, so lift your left arm up by your ear. And as you exhale, taking a little crescent lunge to the side. You might actually hinge from your hips and lean forward just slightly, but keeping a nice length all the way through the top of your head. Feel the reach through your back leg as your front foot gets a little more weighted. Again, make sure your knee is over your ankle. Good. Drawing back up. Bring both hands to the ground. Lift your left knee. Step back into downward facing dog with a split. Right leg goes up, 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 up into the sky. Stacking right hip on top of left. Bend your knee. Let those hips open. So trying to separate the legs as wide as you can. Let your left heel sink down towards the floor as your shoulders remain square. Then bring that foot back down to the floor as you come forward into a nice long plank pose and place your right knee directly down under your hip. We're going to go into a modified side plank position by swiveling on your right knee so your right foot is off sides of the mat. Ground your back foot like warrior two and make sure your right hand is under your shoulder. Maintain that stability again through your lower spine by drawing your belly button in. And find some length through the top of your head, all the way through the crown. That last moment here, turn your left palm to face overhead and extend that arm so you have a nice long side stretch. Don't collapse the chest towards the floor. Again, stabilize that lower spine. Maybe turn the chest up slightly towards the ceiling. Take a nice deep, long breath. As you exhale, come into cat pose. It'll feel really nice as a counter stretch for the full spine, going into flexion, lifting up through the belly, dropping head and tail. Good. From here into Anahata Asana, heart chakra pose, stepping both hands forward while knees are right underneath your hips. Press the palms deeply into the floor and lift up through your bottom ribs as you point your toes back behind you. Feel that nice opening through the chest. Go ahead and lift your head. Come forward into Sphinx pose, pressing the front face of the pelvis, that's your hip bones and your pubic bone, into the ground. Elbows under shoulders, find a nice length up through the crown. And then coming forward into what I call splat pose. Just lengthening the arms out overhead. Still finding the length through your body as you rest your forehead on the ground. So pulling the waistline up and reaching through the legs. Go ahead and sweep the arms behind the back now. Interlace the fingers together if you can by drawing the shoulder blades together. Keep pressing the front face of the pelvis into the ground as you lift your chest. Right? So lifting the chest and the head from the floor, but bringing your chest forward as you reach your legs back behind you and continue to press the face of the pelvis into the ground, pulling belly button up. Go ahead and release. Place your hands by your rib cage. Push back into child's pose. And take a nice deep breath here. Inhale. And exhale all the way out. Let's do the other side. Take your hands back by your feet. Rolling up into kneeling. Exhale, pull down W arms. Bring your hands to your hips. Take your left foot, big step forward. We're going to reach forward for the bowl of soup. Lift it up overhead as you inhale. Exhale, pull down. That chest should be opening a little bit more easily now. Inhale, sweep, scoop. Exhale, pull down. There's a nice squeeze between the legs here to maintain that stability. One more time. Inhale. Exhale and pull down. Hands to your hips. Right arm up by your ear. Exhale, crescent over towards the left. Nice side stretch. So you feel an opening through the whole right side of your body. Again, keep the legs strongly hugged in towards one another. Left knee is over your ankle, and you might hinge slightly forward from the hip creases to find a little more length on the side body. Rise back up, both arms up. Bring your hands down to the floor. Lift your right knee. Step back, downward facing dog split with that left leg up, 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 up in the sky. Stack the hips. Keep your chest square. See if your right heel might come a little closer towards the floor so you feel that length on the back of the leg. Coming into plank pose, feel your length, and then place your left knee on the ground underneath your hip, coming into modified side plank. Swiveling on the left knee, grounding your back foot. Find your length. Stacking your hips, stacking your shoulders. Find a nice broad opening through the chest. And then turn your right palm to face forward as you extend that arm overhead. Again, keep the belly strong and your tail nice and long so you can turn your chest almost up towards the ceiling slightly rather than down towards the floor. It'll feel better. Take a nice deep inhale here. And as you exhale, coming into cat pose again, rounding from head to tail. Good. Into heart chakra again. Step the hands forward. Really try to ground through your knuckles. Don't put your elbows on the floor. They might be touching, but there's no weight on them. Point your toes back slightly so you can lift those front ribs up towards the back body and tone your tummy. Broaden through the tops of the shoulders. Lots of space there. Relax your face. Take a breath. And then lifting your head. Coming into Sphinx, just to find that length for a moment. Again, feel the front face of your pelvis grounding into the floor as your legs are long. Find your length through the crown. And then take a little rest in splat pose. Feel that length through the fingertips. Rest your forehead down. And then sweep the arm back. arms back behind you one more time. Interlace the fingers together. Again, pull that belly button up. Go ahead, lift the chest, roll the shoulders back, press your heart forward. Legs reach back in opposition. And then place your hands by your rib cage so you can push back into child's pose. Take a deep inhalation here. Exhale and empty your lungs completely. From here, come on up into downward facing dog. Take a few moments just to lengthen the spine, pedal the feet, stretch out the legs. And then take super tiny steps forward, bringing the feet to the hands. Coming into a ragdoll position, and then slowly roll yourself all the way up to standing. As your head comes up, lift your arms up and overhead and turn your palms to face outwards. We're going to cross the right wrist over the left and press the hands together and take a crescent pose over to the right, lengthening out the left side of the body. So again, you want to keep your lower spine stable by drawing your belly button to spine and lengthening through the tail. Unlock your knees, feel your left foot press well into the ground, and then use your right hand to pull gently on your left hand, gaining a little more length. Make sure you're not bending backwards from the waist. You might even hinge just the tiniest bit forwards from the waistline, all the way up through the fingertips. Inhale as you rise back up, and we're going to come into W arms, pulling back and down just like we did before. And then interlacing the hands behind the body, drawing your chest up, drawing shoulder blades together. Take a nice deep breath in. Bend your knees really, really well. Send your hips back behind you. Bring chest to thighs and drop the crown towards the ground. Reach your fists up towards the sky. Maybe beginning to straighten the legs a little bit more. And then release the arms down. Bend your knees, roll up really well. Arms come up and overhead. We'll do the other side. Turn the palms to face outwards. We're going to cross the left wrist over the right. Press the palms together. Lengthen up by pulling in the belly. Lengthen your tail and soften your knees. Crescent over to the left. Left hand is going to pull gently on the right this time. Finding length through the right side of the body, hinging forward just the tiniest bit from your waistline. Breathing well. And as you draw back up, we'll come into W arms, pulling back and down. Again, stabilizing lower spine as you open the front of the chest. Hands interlace behind the back with the other hand leading that interlace. Draw the shoulder blades together. Lift your chest, bend your knees like you're passing through chair pose, bringing chest to thighs, and then dropping the head, reaching your fists towards the ceiling, maybe beginning to straighten the legs if that feels okay. Doesn't really matter. Maybe starting to take the arms a little bit more overhead, opening the chest and shoulders just slightly, a little bit more. And release, let your arms hang down by your sides, bend your knees, heavy, heavy head, roll up really slowly all the way to standing. Go ahead and lift your arms up, take a big stretch, and bring your hands back to heart center. Go ahead and bring your hands now to your hips. Shift your weight over into your right foot. And then we're going to draw your left knee high up in towards your chest. Go ahead, grab it with two hands and just pull it in towards the body as you pull in through your waistline and lengthen through the top of your head, drawing your shoulders down the back. And then placing your right hand on your hip, we're going to reach for the top of the left foot or ankle as you draw that foot behind the body. Your knee is going to point straight down towards the ground. Keep your hips level. Pull in through that waistline and keep your legs fairly close together. You don't want your knee opening out to the side. We're going to take our right arm now up towards the sky. So we're just lengthening out the quadricep on the left side. If you want to take this a little bit deeper, you can start to peel your left heel away from your bottom. Keep your chest really upright. And you're welcome to stay right here for another breath or two, or take 2 hands around the back of your left foot. Interlace your fingers together. Take a moment, just find your balance, hugging into midline. Let your shoulders roll back and take that little hinge from your upper back. You'll feel your chest open as you peel your foot a little bit away from your bottom, standing bow pose. Last moment here, take a nice deep breath in. Exhale all the way out. And release your foot. Let's sweep the arms up, up, up. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart. Just kind of recentering again. Shifting your weight into your left foot as you draw your right knee up into your chest. Give it a squeeze with 2 hands. And then draw your foot behind you. Keep the thighs hugging into the midline. Pointing your knee down towards the ground. Spreading your right toes apart. Then send your left arm up by your ear. You can stay right here if that's enough. It's fine. Feel some opening on your quadricep. That's in your right thigh. If you want to take it a little deeper, you start to peel your foot away from your bottom. Hinging again from the upper back. And maybe, if it feels interesting, taking 2 hands behind you. Interlacing your fingers over that foot or ankle and letting the chest open. Kicking that foot gently back behind you. Keeping that length up through the body as your waistline stays nice and tight. Breathing and release. Inhale the arms up. And let's exhale, forward fold into a nice ragdoll shape to kind of counter stretch that back bend. And then let's just step the feet back into downward facing dog. Okay, let's find our peak pose here from downward facing dog. Send your right leg up, up, up into the sky. Let's take that nice hip opener again. Just feeling that length through the whole right front side of the body, maybe even from your fingertips out towards your right knee. Lengthen that leg back out, place it to the ground, come into plank, and we'll bring the right knee forward. We're going to go into modified Vasisthasana or side plank again. Find that same alignment where your right hand, right knee, and left foot are on the same line. That'll be really important for balance, but swing your right foot off sides. We're going to send your left arm up to the sky. Good, now shift your weight a tiny bit forward and strongly lift your left leg to hip height. You might have to step your right hand an inch forward or so for balance. You're going to bend your left knee as you double your left arm behind you and try to catch the top of your left foot or ankle. Spread your toes apart. Good, now stabilize your lower spine by drawing your tail under, pulling in through that belly button and waistline, and drawing your shoulder blades together to hinge from your upper back. Now we don't want to turn our chest down. We want to see if we might have this slight rotation of turning the chest up towards the sky as you peel your left foot away from your bottom. Coming into this variation of bow pose. Maybe starting to turn the head and look up towards the sky. Taking the back of the head back. Again, so you feel the opening from the front of the body. You feel the back muscles working, but not compressing. If you're feeling compression in your lower spine, back off slightly. Take a breath. Maybe relax your jaw, your face. Open up your mouth. Take a breath. Exhale it all the way out as you come out of the pose to hands and knees into cat, rounding out, and then coming into downward facing dog. We'll do the other side. As you inhale, left leg rises up into the sky. We're going to stack the hips, bend the knee, enjoy that nice opening, and then coming into plank pose. Drawing your left knee down to the ground. Finding that balance on the left side, left hand, left knee, right foot on the same line, lifting your right leg, maybe stepping your left hand an inch forward for balance. Bend your right knee as you W arm the right arm behind you, reaching for the top of the foot. Go ahead, peel that foot away from your bottom as you draw your tail underneath you, belly button in. Begin that little rotation. Shoulder blades draw together so your heart becomes big and broad and proud. Turning it up towards the sky. You can always keep your eyes on your left fingers if that's better for balance. Or maybe try starting to look up towards the sky. Maybe take the back of your head back, pressing that front face of the pelvis forward. As you peel your foot from bottom, finding your peak here, relax your jaw, your face, open your mouth, breathe. And release, come down into cat pose again. From here, let's take a child's pose. Taking a couple deep breaths. Slowing everything down, just kind of feeling the after effects of your pose. Maybe noticing your heartbeat, your pulse, some other kind of rhythm. Then let's lift up, come to sitting. Take your legs out in front of you with your knees bent. Roll down really, really slow, one vertebra at a time, till your knees come in towards your chest. Give them a nice squeeze. And just in case we felt a little bit of unresolved tension on the lower back, we're going to work that out with a twist. So drop your legs over to the right. Let your legs relax to the floor as your chest stays open. Take a breath. Drawing your knees back to the center. Going to the other side. Again, let your legs relax fully. You want your knees up high by your arm, not down low towards the front of your mat. Deep breaths, relax your head. And release, come back to center. Give yourself another little squeeze. Maybe curl up into a little ball, lifting your head and shoulders off the floor, wrapping your arms around your legs. And then coming down, lying all the way on your back with your legs outstretched, feet spread apart, hands spread apart. Shoulders tucked gently underneath you. Palms face up. Close your eyes and take a few minutes to rest.